What is up, Meffridge? Welcome out to stop number 6. Stop number 6 of the Elite Series season. It is crazy we are on stop number 6. It feels like the season started like a couple weeks ago. It also seems like it started a couple years ago. It's been a weird year. Just coming off an absolutely abysmal finish here a couple days ago at Lake Fork, unfortunately. And now we are to the true crown jewel of Texas that everyone knows, of course, as the Sabine River. That was a joke. This is actually a place where the Elite Series has been a lot, and I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's straight up because Orange, Texas is a huge supporter of bass fishing, and I'm sure, I don't know the financials behind it, but I'm sure they support Bassmaster well to come out, and they put on a great show. They got great facilities. They have, we'll have live music and stuff. We'll have a big crowd at the weigh-in, so we love all that. The only thing that's lacking here is giant bass. If you look back at the history here, whether the tournament, there's been tournaments in February here, there's been tournaments all the way into June here, and the one common denominator is, it's going to take, I don't even know, 13 pounds a day at most to win this tournament. Probably a lot less than that. Really, a 2-pounder here is a good fish. So we go from Lake Fork, where, you get an opportunity to catch a double digit or even a teener every single spot that you stop, and then we go to somewhere like this where those fish just flat out don't exist. We might not see a 5-pounder weighed the entire tournament. This is a tidal fishery, so we've already been, this is the 3rd tidal fishery of the year in 6 tournaments. So, I mean, the Facebook commenters got their way, of course, with our schedule, unfortunately. Yeah, we're fishing a bunch of rivers this year. We're fishing a bunch of tidal systems where it's a lot of shallow power fishing. You guys probably remember, you've watched some of my videos for a while. You've seen me fish some bayous down south of Houston. So that's really the only thing similar that I've ever fished. I've never been to the Sabine, even though this is the closest that Bassmaster Elite Series will probably ever come to my house, only about 2 hours away. This place is not somewhere that I've ever really circled or stopped by or even wanted to go to, just because it doesn't have a lot of big fish. But I keep hearing from a lot of people, there's a good chance you catch a lot of fish, and I'm not gonna, just say that's gonna happen, but you catch a lot of numbers. You just gotta figure out the quality ones, and hopefully you can figure out how to catch one solid one a day, if not a couple. Because if you're doing that, then you're really sitting right, and a solid one is gonna be, in that 2 1/4 to 4-pound range. Those 4 or 5 pounders, an absolute unicorn out here, but they do live here. I got a whole bunch of different baits tied on, and I'm really actually gonna keep it simple for practice and really into this tournament. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. There isn't a real possibility, depending on how the first couple days of practice goes, that we're really going to try to venture out, do some exploring. I looked to see how far that bayou is that I fished a handful of times, mostly for redfish and trout, of course, from here, and it looks like it'd probably take about 2.5 to 3 hours to get there. So that's probably going to be a little too far. I think I could only get gas one time each direction and, leave myself about 17 seconds to go catch some bass, which isn't a very good idea because this is a tidal fishery, and if you don't hit the tide just right, you're probably not going to catch anything. So a couple different areas always play when we come here. One of the main areas is right by the ramp. Unfortunately, it's just a big population of fish. They get released in big tournaments. They get released in Tuesday, Wednesday night tournaments that are out here. So that's always going to play. But there's a lot of bayous that are kind of similar to what I've fished before that always seem to kind of come and play as well. Like I said, it's possible we'll trailer this boat and practice over to somewhere in the Houston area just to check a couple things, take a look at them, see what lives there. First, I do want to let you know, one big helper in this event is going to be hopping on the same app that I've used a lot in the past that you guys have seen, and that is the Deep Dive app. This video is sponsored by the Deep Dive app, and if you remember me talking about this in the past, this is an awesome app to go ahead and get you guys not only started, but really, even if you're an advanced angler, there's a lot of different stuff on here that's going to help you out in your tournaments. There's wind direction maps. There's even tide maps. A tide map's going to be absolutely huge to time up those tides, see when the water's going to be moving in, be moving out. And one other thing that's going to be really big right now is they are releasing a lot of water. Everything has a lot of water in Texas right now, so it has a water flow map. You can see where the water is going to be coming in. That might be a positive, that might be a negative. You don't want it to be too blown out and muddy, but it can tell you those areas that probably aren't going to be fishable, and it can tell you some areas too where maybe there's some good clean water rushing into some muddy water, and there'll be a really good population of fish living in those areas. So check out the Deep Dive app. Another thing that it has on there as well is you guys can pick up exactly on your body of water you like to go to. There's seasonal conditions. You plug some stuff in on this app, whether it be the time of day you're fishing, the water clarity, how you're trying to break down the fishery, and it's going to tell you guys some ideas on baits, ideas on where to throw those baits, and even videos on exactly how to work those baits to catch fish. So I'll put a link at the top of the description. Go check out the Deep Dive app and use it to catch some more fish like I'm going to. Like I said, keeping it simple. I tied a couple different flipping baits up for practice. Really, I want something with flap, something without flap. Not too crazy. If you guys watch those videos from the bayou, I throw these two baits, you know, primarily 6 cents prawn, 6 cents stroker crawl. You know, it got some crazy colors, of course. This one's called the Backwater Blues, all straight blue bait. Can be really, really good in bodies of water like this, where it's some tannic water, it's some off-colored water. That's a really good color. And then, of course, you can't go wrong with black and blue anywhere in the country. When am I going to use which? There's not really a rhyme or reason to it. Some days they prefer the no action of that prawn, that beaver style bait. Some days they want some kick and you just want to move more water, especially in some of this water that got really, really dirty the last few days. That stroker crawl, awesome bait. Of course, we also got the Congo crawl that's out now too. That thing moves even more water. So if we get some really, really nasty color water, I'll probably be doing that. And then something that's kind of cool, you know, we got black and blue in the stroker crawl. I'll probably be throwing this one a little bit too, because one of the main forage in here for bass, which is crazy, is the blue crab. And this kind of mimics one of those little blue crabs. It's got a bunch of blue on the bottom back. What is this color? It's some type of Okeechobee crawl type color. But this color absolutely gets bit. I'll probably throw some just orange marker on there, give it a little bit of extra pizzazz. But yeah, the blue crab, it's weird. You know, you can throw in some of these spots just like I like to fish in those areas, and you can catch a redfish one cast, a trout the next cast, a flounder the next cast, and then catch a bass. So it's crazy. It's different fishing. It's something I'm not used to coming from Nebraska, of course, but living and learning. Something else we got on the slow baits, the non-moving baits side. Can't go wrong with the drop shot, of course. We've got that tied up. Now here's a way I would like to catch them a lot in this tournament, or at least in practice. I'm going to be throwing it a whole bunch just to cover water. These tidal fish are aggressive. They're in shallow water, and so that always means to me, especially at the start of summer like this, we're going to be throwing some topwater baits. We got this new 6 cents Hush Frog, more smaller, compact size frog. Should be a perfect size for some of these smaller bass that live out here. Of course, we're going to be trying to catch some 2 to 3 pound bass on it as well, but that's a great size that they can get. Very, very easily collapsed too, so you're not going to lose those fish. And then covering more water than the frog with the buzz bait. I'll probably throw some more in practice just to keep it moving. We got to break down a lot of water in 3 days of practice. Stroker crawl in the back, no skirt, really loud, squeaky buzz bait. Can't go wrong with it, right? As far as the subsurface moving baits go, we got 3 different options. I made some little homemade spinner baits up. This is one I make, just a very finessey white little spinner bait that we tied up the other day. We'll see if she works. Also, if it's super muddy, we'll be switching to a straight up big Colorado blade just to move some extra water. That'll be my deal in practice, probably to cover water if it's going to be really, really nasty in the area. If we get around some riprap, we get around some industrial stuff, some stumps, stuff like that, this bait gets chewed in all of these river systems, these bayous and stuff that we go to, especially if there's any type of shad spawn. That's that new Finesse Flat F4 from 6 cents. This color is absolutely money. I'll link it down below. And an important thing with this is it's a really light bait, and I can throw it really good on the 7.3 medium Team 6 crankbait rod. People ask me all the time what I throw my smaller finesse size crankbaits. You know, this guy, the Fritz side, those type of crankbaits, and this rod is absolutely perfect for it. 6.3 to 1. Tula on it as well. And you know, I can't go anywhere without throwing the old bradder bait. This is actually one that I tied up. This is the one from the Pasco tank you guys watched me make in the video. I got it tied on right now, but I'll probably be switching. I got some bradder baits he made up for me in white, black and blue, you know, green pumpkin. Nothing crazy there, nothing out of the ordinary. We don't need to be throwing 87 different types of perfect colors with 1 or 2 strands of chartreuse or maroon or whatever. They're gonna eat. You know, it's a place you get a lot of bites. It sounds like we just got to figure out where and when we're going to target them to get the most amount of bites. I think the most amount of bites you get can equate into a little bit better average size. You just got to kind of work through them. So that's my plan to get started. I literally have, you know, no idea where I'm gonna practice tomorrow. I have no idea where boat ramps even are besides where we're launching out of. So I got to go do some map study right now, get that figured out, and I'll catch you guys first thing in the morning. Let's get it. Good morning, MFers. Welcome out. Morning number 1 at the Bean, the Crown Jewel, Texas. We are at Cow Bayou, I believe. It looks good on the map. That's why we're here. And it's actually not too far from launch. So this is going to be kind of like, you know, by the launch area, within 15 minutes of launch area number 2, besides where a lot of it usually goes down, which is right at the launch. We're gonna grind, we're gonna work our ass off. Never been to this place before. Not a good fishery, but it's kind of the same mindset I had last year. You know, I can't help and change that I have less tournament experience on big bodies of water and at traditional bodies of water like this than everybody else, but what I can help is I'm not gonna be outworked or anything like that. You know, I'm gonna bust my ass no matter where we're at and try to put together the best game plan possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Lake Fork has sucked ass, and so we're trying to get things not get things back going, but you just try to have the best day each day possible to put yourself in good position. Noticing right now, looking at the map, we have no contours at all, so that's fine. I mean, it's shallow. Looks like we got some barge tie-ups, we got some seawalls, we got some hyacinth-looking grass. This is gonna be a place where we get a line wet. We aren't scanning around looking for stuff on side imaging and stuff like that. We're actually gonna be fishing to try to find them. So, without further ado, let's go fish and try to find them.
Well, I don't know, looks like a pond to me. Let's fish it.
It's like we got incoming tide. Whatever that means. Saw this backwater pond on the map and I was like, hey, let's fish it. Oh man. Oh, what? There it is. That's it right there. Baggins, bud. That's one of them bean monsters. Wow, my little homemade spinner bait right next to this little stump right here, and he went skadoosh or whatever a 8-incher does. I don't really know what. Wow, awesome, sweet catch. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. Oh, you're a very tough boy. Yeah. Oh, hi, buddy. It's okay. Oh, look, a fish. What do you know? It's okay. Jeez. See ya. Wow. Look at this guy. He crushed that damn husk frog. That's a big one here. Unreal. Made sense where he was at. I flipped in there a couple times, nothing. Throw the frog in there. Woo! Never give up, pod. Just saw Ike and now it's freaking got me fired up for never giving up, buddy. Yeah. All of them. Fishing over here by Bubba Gump. Not the knockoff restaurant, the actual Bubba Gump shrimp boat. Yeah, I don't know, I guess we just we cast around a lot and try to put it in high percentage spots, like some points, some hard stuff, some wind blown point to backwater like this, and you catch a damn giant like that one right there. That's a big one. Yeah, bud. That's a damn stud right there. We're gonna tie on a punch rig. We need to get in that grass. Good morning. I'm at first morning number 2 of practice. Yesterday, quick synopsis, I drove around way too much. It became very evident that you need to have your cricket in the water, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense or what it looks like. You just need to have the sumbitch in the water. Oh, also, it needs to be really loud. It needs to be bright or dark or a lot of flap or all of the above, because the water is nasty. Not good here. The fish do not seem to be smart. They do not seem to care if it's chartreuse, black, orange, you know, whatever crazy color that sticks out the most in the water at all. They're just gonna eat it, but they gotta be able to see it or feel it. And so we're trying to make them see it and feel it. Also, I don't think it can be too big, because it seems like most of the fish are about this big, and we're gonna go for the ones that are this big, and that's gonna be the difference between doing well in this tournament or not. I did catch one on a frog that was probably 2 pounds. That was a giant. And then like 3-pounders are absolute unicorns out here. That's like catching a 12-pounder at Lake Fork in a tournament. So place is interesting, mixing it up and going to the most popular spot on this body of water, which is the boat ramp area where we launch. Not very exciting, but is what it is. Of course, the Elite Series tournaments and other big tournaments also go to Orange. They dump their fish in this area, and that makes for a lot of fish around this area. So we're gonna go throw around stuff that looks like this. It's gonna look cool at least, and we'll try to put something together with that this morning, and then we're gonna go explore some backwaters and stuff. Oh yeah, that's a show enough right there. That's a show enough, bud. Yeah. Yep, that's a pound and shoot, I don't even know. It's a keeper, that's all that matters. One of those poundings. Got the old glow spinner. Something they can see, and he freaking chewed it. Shoot! Oh, that's another tank. Another tank. Yeah. Yep. We got our starting hole, boys. We got our starting hole, boys. Choking it, bud. Choking it. Yeah, we're gonna eat him. That's a big one. Wow. What a blow up. What a blow up. Is it big enough to be a keeper? Showing up. Look at that. 12-incher, bud. We're working on a limit. Working on a limit today. Tank, bud. Let's get an idea of how much something like this weighs. Come home and scale. You're gonna need to be accurate this week. Oh yeah, that's a 1-1. That's what you want. That's what gets you to the top. Spot makes sense. That's a fatty too. That's one of those show enough 1-4s. Yeah, I think they're pretty well loaded right there. This one's not a big one though. Let's catch one more. We'll get out of here. That ain't even a keeper. That ain't even a 12. Threw that spinnerbait in there though, and one freaking railed it right before I caught the other one. So the tide must be incoming because all this water from this shipping channel is pushing back this way, and it's going through underneath this bridge. And the water's outgoing and that water's coming towards us. I think that'd be even better because they're probably set up back there and we can't get under there, obviously. Not a keeper, bud. Not a keeper. Get out of here. Get out of here. Well, that's a wrap on practice, MFers. Having a Dr. Juice. Didn't see much today because I had this many bites today and only stayed out till about noon. Honestly, I was just over it, and I kind of figured, like, the way I get with these tournaments, after a while, I'm just like, on a tough tournament like this, I'm just going to get discouraged. I know exactly where I'm going to fish, which is going to be in the ramp area. I have a really bad boat number tomorrow, so we have a long day at least, so I guess that's a good thing. Kind of sad that we don't get to go to our spot where we caught a bunch in a row the other day. Got out of there. Someone will probably be on that, I would assume, but day 2 we'll be able to get there at least. I know Doc Talk's always a myth and everyone's lying, but sounds like it's extremely difficult to even catch a fish because this place sucks, but then it also, like, you could at least catch some fish the first couple days, and now we're to the point where the water in the Sabines come way up. The water in all the other major rivers is way up. The moon's huge, and so the tide's huge from that when it's high. And to add to that and make matters worse, it's been a really strong south wind that's blowing water in from the ocean. So a lot of not good factors, but almost every fish, or a lot of them I caught in practice, was on this little homemade spinnerbait, and that redfish I caught the other day trashed my hook a little bit. It's still usable, but I literally have nothing else that's just like this one, so I am currently making up a couple backups, and then I'm going to do a couple with some bright kicker blades since the water's just gotten absolutely disgusting in there. For those of you guys that like to watch the grinders, and people have been commenting that like crazy, we don't want to just see you catch 40-pound limits, we want to see when it's tough too. Well, if you watch this tournament videos coming up, you're about to see some dang grinding. You're about to see some fishing just for bites, and if they're longer than 12 inches, you're going to see some dang excitement, because getting 5 might be extremely difficult. I think it will be extremely difficult. So we got a long day tomorrow. Hopefully we're able to get on a couple little stretches that have fish. I'm going to keep making some spinnerbaits. Catch you tomorrow, my friends. Peace.